We're live.
We're live.
Oh, hello.
Hey.
Misbehaving Meads.
Yeah,
I got to see if we can hear us this time, because last time you and I were in charge, we messed it up.
Got this thing here.
All right, there we go. Let's see here.
Hopefully.
Oh, that's not the right one. There we go.
We're here, CCSK Law, live.
I can hear us now.
Misbehaving Meads. Fantastic.
I can hear it, so that's good. That means we're set to go.
We're here on a slightly cooler Tuesday.
It's rainy.
It's
rainy.
rainy.
Man, when are we going to get outside? Every time we're trying to get
We really
these,
want to go outside.
Yeah. I mean, this is the last 3 weeks now. We've been trying to get outside, and we can't do it because the rain keeps coming.
Yeah.
What's that all about? Huh?
Yeah. It's just been a shame. It's been a shame.
Yeah.
But we will end up getting outside.
I think one day it was really hot. I don't remember if it was just rain or if it was really hot. I think it was just rain. I think it's always been the fear of rain.
I don't know. These past several days, though, just been insane.
I think we need waterproof equipment. Can you take
Out
care
in
of
the
that?
rain.
Yeah.
This will be kind of like, you've seen newscasters out in the rain, like they're the real reporters.
Don't they?
out
Have you
there.
ever watched them? Don't they have like Ziplocs and stuff all over their equipment? Aren't they
We just need to get
wrap
Ziploc
it?
bags. Is that it?
We'll just wrap everything in
We just
plastic.
wrap everything in a Ziploc bag. All right.
We're a little late getting started there. Hey, my wife's watching. Hey, honey. So, so it's Tuesday. Feels like Thursday already. This has been a long
It's
week.
been a long week already.
It
The
really
past 2
has.
days have already been extremely long.
Yeah. What do you got going on this week? Anything this weekend fun?
So, hey, got some loves coming.
Awesome.
Yeah, this really, it's been a hot time for real estate.
Yeah.
I've had a few closings already. This market has been something else to keep up with.
Really?
We talked a little bit last week about, the possibility of for sale by owners and such, and where doing real estate deals there's just been so much movement in the market where there's been a lot of sellers moving things. But it gets locked up so fast that the inventory tends to be low out there.
Oh, okay.
So it's hard for buyers to actually find something that they want because it's just
going so
quick
fast.
turnovers. And sometimes there's been deals, like the people who often come to us with deals already have buyers lined up.
Yeah.
Because it was that fast.
I got a buddy of mine that is looking to do like flips and stuff. And there was one in town that looked like it had potential, and I called the realtor and we couldn't get the keys. They wanted you to drive to another city to pick up the keys to go look at it. It was a beater. I mean, it was beat up. It was bad. But we never did get it a showing. We went and looked at it, walked around the outside and talked about it, but we never actually got to see the inside because by the time it was weird because by the time, like they said, they wouldn't have any showings for 72 hours.
Yeah.
And then after the 72-hour point, they already had 9 offers for people that obviously couldn't go in there and look at it. So I don't know so then they weren't showing anymore.
Wow. Yep.
I don't know. I think people they don't think sometimes when they're going into a real estate like that, and they think, oh, well, it's low price, so I can make my money on it anyway. And it's like, even at the price they were charging, which was a good price, I was really hoping to get it less than that because to do the repair that needed to be done, because there's obviously going to be mold in there somewhere. And so I was thinking, man, at that point, if somebody was paying over the asking price on it to get it, which if there's 9 bids, that's likely what's going on.
Yep.
And I thought, man, somebody's going to lose money on that or be real tight.
Yeah. Well, and so today on CCSK, Tips from the Bar, we're going to be talking about different types of real estate ventures. I mean, we're talking about wholesaling, holding for rentals, flipping, commercial, residential, single-family home.
I have a big deal that I would love to find people and maybe like syndicate to get together and get it bought.
Watch the word syndication. We'll come back to why you want to be very careful about using the word syndication.
I knew if I threw it out there, something would strike.
You caught it.
So, all right, we're good.
Watch that.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
So, all right, man, lead the way. What's up with well, let's put him on speakerphone. No, just kidding.
All right.
Hey, RG, if you see us, we're here. Come on over, buddy.
We're here at Misbehaving Meads.
He's running late.
Yeah.
So.
And so,
maybe he's still with a client. He might not even make it at all. I don't know.
Maybe.
You can text him too. So yeah, we don't want to get into syndication, but
So
we don't want to talk about it. So might as well hit that off the bat. Since
I will knock out syndication real fast.
Yeah.
We're gonna knock out syndication real fast. So syndication starts to move in
I
towards
will
something.
not go.
I did.
Application.
I did the voice thing. You can start stepping into a lot of regulations where you get classified as a security.
Right.
All right. So if Kurt and I decide to go into a real estate deal, that's one thing because I know Kurt. We know each other. We're buddies. We're partners. Right? We have experience working together, and we decide to invest in something together. Maybe I get an offer together, and I'm like, "Hey, Kurt, is this something you want in on?" And he's like, "Yeah, all right. Let's that sounds good." That's just entering into like a partnership, or if we get into an LLC, then we'll be members of it, or maybe a joint venture. But that's all right. Now, if you talk about syndication, though, you're talking more like, I don't know this guy, and I'm coming up and saying, hey, you want to invest in this neat opportunity that I got. That's regulated.
And for that, you need an accredited investor.
You need an accredited investor. That means, I'm going to just, with no legal mumbo jumbo, accredited means you have experience / money able to enter into these type of opportunities.
And that roughly it's $1 million of net worth, excluding your primary residence. So that means above and beyond your primary residence, or income of, I think, $250,000 to $300,000 a year if you're a couple. It's $300,000 a year income for a couple of years, I think what it is.
Yeah,
so,
I was looking at it earlier.
and I think it's $200,000 or $250,000 if you're single on income. I'm not sure, somewhere around there. I'm not sure exactly.
Indiana tried to make this move to make where you could kind of go public with an LLC membership. It never really took off, but one of the things had to do with the hurdles of accredited investors.
Yeah, I would imagine that's
real tough to do, real tough. And so that's why we're going to stay away from the word syndication. And if you're ever on video, you do not want to say that you are syndicating any type of real estate deals, because you're going to get a knock on the door or a letter from somebody.
Absolutely.
Right? And so
we have a comment from Ashley Schmidt-Reed that you need to have a beer in your hand so it's more bar-like.
that is true. That is true. We jumped on.
We usually do. Hey, Jenny, Greg, good to see you.
Hey, Jenny.
We usually do have drinks. We're just not drinking tonight.
I really do want to.
So
Well, I wanted to grab one.
I don't know. We were running a little late, so we wanted to jump on real quick, and maybe afterwards we'll sit around and have a drink.
There we go. We're
see.
still at the bar,
Right.
and we're both pretty sober right now, just from a long day of law, which sobers you up like crazy.
I was in the office a little early today too. So
You were what?
no, I wasn't. Yeah, I was. I don't remember. It's been that long.
And he's not drunk.
No.
But so yeah, usually I like to grab some. Here at Miss Bay Meads, they actually have some great
They have some good
ciders,
stuff.
meads, sparkling meads, wines.
We're looking over here because they have this big chalk wall where they write up their menu and what's for sale.
They
so
do.
It's really
they
cool.
have a whole menu on the wall.
Hold on here. I'm going to show it real quick.
All right. See, there's the list. There's the ciders, sparkling above that. It's tough to see the meads and the wines over to the side there. But
all right. Are we both in?
Yeah, that was
all right.
good.
It works. Okay. Hey,
Yeah,
look at
That
that.
was perfect. You can set it right back down.
It's probably crooked. Who knows?
Yeah.
So, it's okay. So other real estate. So syndication's dealt with. We understand that that's a big,
Yep.
watch out word. And watch out thing.
Yeah.
So,
But
what
it
else
is
on-
okay to enter into other types of relationships with people that you already know.
But if you got a bunch
Other
of friends
investors.
and you all know each other and you can want to pile your money together, you can. That's not technically syndication. That's
Right.
a bunch of buddies going in together.
Yeah,
So-
exactly. You're not looking
So I'm
at.
glad you got a lot of buddies because this is a big deal.
Yeah.
Life changing.
Life changing.
Yeah.
That's what's so if you have that kind of deal, you gotta know the people.
I don't think we know enough people to put this one together.
Which one's that?
It's probably, I would imagine it's probably going to go a little over 30 million on the deal probably.
Oh.
So we need to come up with what 25% roughly. So about
Okay.
7 million.
Right.
So
Those are two different strategies. There's some people who like to buy cash, and sure, we could just take 30 million of our cash,
we could,
and
just
walk down there and
set it
pay,
aside and
or you could take the 20.
Jenny,
the road.
So we do have, okay, so Jenny,
Oh,
full
yeah.
disclosure, we have a list of places that we're organizing right now because later this summer we're going to try to do a Tips from the Bar tour.
The tour
And we're going to go around to a bunch of different places and just hit them all outside and inside and
right.
everywhere. It's just going to be a blast. We're
Every
excited about
Tuesday.
it. So good
we have a
idea.
new scheduled
We're one
place.
step ahead of you.
That's right. Oh, we'll be hitting the road here soon.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Details to come.
So back to the real estate. That big deal. We could pay cash.
So you could pay cash, right? And so by paying cash, you're not taking on leverage. You're not taking the money out to. Oh yeah, you're welcome to join, Jenny.
Of course you can, anytime.
You're able to, and now there is a strategy where you buy cash, and then finance the deal if you need to pick it up quickly, right? So you pay the cash, you pick it up quickly, and then you actually finance that, take the money back out, and then go buy another property with it. Right.
And I've seen people do a split version of that where they'll do what they call a bridge loan, where it's kind of like a name loan. They'll do an 18-month loan, get the property, rehab it, build it up, raise the rents a little bit, and get a higher valuation. So then they can go back in and pull a lot of their money out.
And let's talk about that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
What is the purpose of your investment? Why are you buying this property? Is it to flip?
Cash flow, maybe.
Or is it to hold?
Yeah.
Right? Which honestly,
there's both.
The holding is when you look at things like capitalization rate, what's called the cap rate. I'll go into that in a second. Cash flow is extremely important with the holding, because honestly, you're not looking to flip it and make a quick return on it. You're not making big bucks on that. You got to make sure that you have positive cash flow enough to cover everything, and then make a little bit of money over time, and over time make your return. You're not worried as much.
Hopefully, it's a little more than just a little bit of money, because you don't want to. And that's where people, I think, get into trouble with smaller properties. Like they'll get, they'll put a lot of money into, a couple 1 or 2 bedroom deals, or 1 or 2 door deals, and then they realize, my take home on this is $300 a month.
Yep. That's where you want to start looking at something called a cap rate. That's your net operating income divided by the purchase price. Net operating income is your income net those expenses that you have to do beforehand, and you take that number and you divide it by the purchase price. And if you're below 6-7%, it's not looking very good. A lot of investors won't even go below double digits. They'll say they want 10 or more.
The ones I know a lot of people that want. I think on the when you get to the bigger deals, that you go lower. And if you got a multi-million-dollar deal and you're doing a 6%, that's fine.
Yeah.
But if you got a small, 16-door deal, you want to be in that 10-15 range, depending on where you're at.
And so a big question there is, are you going commercial? So again, there's some investments that are single-family homes, which have some benefits of you being able to get conventional loans and such, which only require like 5% down.
Right.
Or you move your way up to multifamily, where you got duplex, triplex, quadplex, But as soon as you get over that, you're hitting commercial. The 5-unit thing, that's when you start getting into the commercial realm. Where
what's the cutoff on that in Indiana?
That's 4 or lower is
okay. So 4 or lower is multifamily. 5 and above is
actually considered commercial.
Okay. And
so you're stepping into kind of a new realm. You're playing with a new ballgame, especially with financing on that. There's going to be different. You're not putting down 5%. You're doing 20 to 25%.
So believe it or not,
30.
None of this is legalese, but it's also confusing. So there's a lot of stuff, a lot of terms being thrown around, a lot of numbers. So this is why it's important to talk to Isaac and have him walk you through this if you're considering doing something like this, because he's got a lot of knowledge and a lot of expertise that can help get that deal done and help do it right in a way that's going to be beneficial to you and help you recognize if it's not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so I appreciate that. We've been
do it. It's true. I mean, it's true. This is literally, as we're sitting here talking, I know you and I know what we're talking about. But I started thinking about it. I'm like, this is really complex information, especially if somebody's kind of just thinking about it and they don't really know. It can seem daunting, even though it's not necessarily. It's a terminology thing, and it's just an understanding the process a little bit.
Familiarizing yourself with the terms, but honestly, if you're going to go and talk with somebody who's a financial, or if you're who's like a banker or a lender, investor, you got to know these terms down. Or if you're going in and talking with a realtor to help you find some properties. If you go in there and you just tell the realtor, well, I'm looking for something that has good cash flow, and what? Like, I don't know, anywhere between, 3 doors to 100 doors, take any of those, doors being the number of units, being the number of actual apartment buildings or spaces that you actually have.
Right.
If you don't know what you're looking for or the reason that you're investing, and your investment strategy, you're not going to go very far with that.
Right.
Again,
right.
if you
or you're going to get yourself into trouble.
you are going to get in trouble, right?
It.
Yeah. If you're looking at cap rates or cash flow, and what you're actually trying to do is flip.
Wrong part.
Again, you're not looking at the range. So flipping is, you go in and you buy a property that you believe is undervalued, right? You might have some renovations on it. Hopefully you budget that in, and then you sell it again. Now, when you sell that and how often you sell it determines whether that real estate is considered inventory for you.
Right.
You just gotta be careful.
The interesting thing with flips is I think a lot of people get into it, and this is I think flips are more dangerous for people than holding. It is a personal opinion of mine, but I think that it's more dangerous because so many people get excited about it, and they get that pie in the sky, the rose-colored glasses, and well, that's not bad, and they under account for repairs, and I can do that for this or I can do that. And then I think what happens is by the time they get all the fees and everything, and they get everything done, then they have their taxes, their holding costs and everything for when they're doing it, and then they go in and do all the work, and then it takes them a while to get it sold. Next thing you know, they're completely flipped upside down and they're losing money or they're close. Yeah. And if you're going to do something like that, I mean, in my mind, the point to a flip is to make a big hit with cash fast.
Right.
And so if you're looking to get a little money over time, that's when you want to go ahead and, if you're trying to do, hey, I want to make a $2,000 a month income, great. Then there's a way to do that with real estate. It's just not going to be a flip.
Right. And the situation you're describing is something I've seen way too often. It's people who go to the property before getting their team set up or their strategy set up. Oh, I got distracted by this shiny object, this great investment, right? That's not the way good investors go about it. Good investors, they know their investment strategy, so they know what types of properties they're looking at and what type of tenants, if that's what they're doing for.
Yep.
They line up their contractors. They know what financing they're going to be trying to go with, right?
And they use worst case scenario, but they have the knowledge to establish that worst case scenario. It's not like, oh, worst case scenario, this repair is going to cost me $1,000. When really the worst case scenario is if you really get into it and there's problems and this, that, and the other, it's going to cost you $3,000.
Yep.
And that's just experience.
And working with an experienced mentor or investor is not a bad way to start, right?
No,
you got an extra
big difference.
You got an extra 20 grand, 50 grand, and you're looking to start doing some investment or something like that. Maybe throw in with somebody who has more experience with that and just get a smaller portion of the cash flow with it so you can get experience in what you're doing.
Now, and
that's the method of doing that.
And that's a great idea because if you're looking to get into something, part of your payout is knowledge. So maybe you get to know somebody and maybe they got a deal that you can go in on and you can help put up some cash for it. They'll handle everything and show you what to do. And then they get to keep a little bigger piece of the pie when it's done, but you still get some return on your money too. But you're getting education return. And so if you can find somebody that trusts you and you trust them to do something like that, that's a real big step up.
Still don't go in uneducated, just throwing money at investors. There's there's so many people you can't trust.
There are unscrupulous. That's why I said know the person and trust them.
Know the people and trust them.
Big key.
And know your stuff. There's a lot of investors that they say, well, pitch me. Go find me something and bring it to me. And if you say, look, I got 20,000 towards this, I need 50 more thousand. All right. Well, if they're sitting there with 50, bring them the property, bring them your analysis, show you know what you're talking about, and they can walk you through on how to actually implement that. Yep. But bring something to them. Bring solutions. Don't always just bring money, right? But
in actuality, it's harder to find the deals than it is to find the money. If you find the right deal, I'll guarantee you can find somebody to fund it.
Yep.
That's the thing. Most people think, well, I've got money now, I got to go out and just grab a deal because the deals are easy. But no, finding a good deal is difficult, especially in the market right now.
And that is a great transition into wholesaling.
I love it.
Wholesaling, right?
This is not Sam's Club. So I'll let you carry on.
Go.
No, carry on.
Yeah, all right. So
I've never done wholesaling. I've thought about doing it. I've never done it, so I'm a little nervous about getting it under contract and doing that and transitioning it. So just speed wise and having the contacts to do that. But go ahead, carry on. Explain away.
A wholesaler basically finds the deal. They get it under contract, like you said, we start to enter in, but then they have someone else actually close on that property. But they wrap up the deal and then take it to an investor to actually take it, and then they get a cut off the top. It's kind of like a realtor does, but it doesn't. technically
broker almost. Yeah, they're
it's almost
brokering
broker,
the deal.
but you got to be careful because you don't technically need a real estate license to do it.
Right.
But that's if you do it right. There's a lot of people who go out there and wholesale incorrectly, or they don't know what they're doing. They hear it's a great way to get into it, but if you don't have systems in place and you don't know what you're doing, you might, one, be doing a job of a realtor, which you don't do that because you need a license to do that.
Right.
Or two, you're just going to be wasting a lot of time and a lot of effort
and money
because you don't have systems in place to be able to do that, and you don't want to find yourself on hook for a deal that you can't move.
And I remember about a year and a half ago, for a while, wholesaling was the big buzzword.
Yeah.
So you started seeing these little pop-up courses online of be a wholesaler, and the problem with that is I think a lot of people come into it and they see, oh wow, so I don't have to actually put money down and buy the property. I have to put whatever the escrow amount is or whatever and get it signed. Yeah. And worst case scenario, I'm going to lose my $1,000 or $2,000 escrow money.
Yeah.
But the downside is again, it comes down to knowledge and analysis and understanding the deal. And is this really a deal that someone's going to want to buy? Because you can go to any real estate property out there and put it under contract. That doesn't mean it's a good deal for wholesaling.
Right.
So again, it comes down to that knowledge and education and getting somebody to work with that can help you understand where you're at and where you're going and what your goals are.
So let's move into real quick what we do, right? So
what do you do?
What do I do, right?
What do you do?
I'm going to quickly run you down through.
How do you do what you do?
I do what I do. I do what I do. All right. I do what I do.
Hey, forget about it.
Forget about it. You may have heard me say this, or you may have seen my blog, that top 5 ways to limit your liability are especially applicable to real estate investing. All right. The top way to limit your liability is, we've already hit on a few times, watch who you work with. Right? Watch what contractors, so the 2 biggest things that I keep coming across are bad contractors or bad tenants. Do background checks for your tenants, right? Go back to landlords, because I guarantee if you call the previous landlord, they're going to be like, yeah, you want to take this person. They're great. And there's a reason they're telling you that this person's great. You should take them.
Right.
You go back to landlords on them, right? Do the employment check. Make sure that they can actually afford to live there and that they are going to live there. And you get, because you want that long-term tenant who's going to be able to take care of the place. Also, contractors. Make sure you have a copy of their license, their bond and insurance, and the permits that they need to pull to do the work. Make sure you're getting copies of those things. Don't just trust that they are licensed, bonded, and insured if they say they are. And make sure they are actually licensed, bonded, and insured before, and in that county too.
I ran across that not too long ago with an issue with somebody. And
yeah, definitely. So watch who you work with.
The contractor said they were licensed and bonded and insured. Started the work, said they had the permits. They didn't have anything.
Nope.
Unreal. It's just, I feel bad because it's like, man, they really screwed that person over, but
they really did. And it's hard. It's hard to go back after those people.
And that's where the biggest thing, technically you're in the right, but trying to get the, civil suits, sometimes they don't respond, and it's hard to get them in. It's hard to get things going. Trying to take them to the police or whatever and say, hey, this person stole from me because they committed fraud. They told me they're this, the police are busy. Chances of them investigating and going to it may or may not. It's
extremely tough.
It's tough. It's tough. So do your research and everything up front.
Watch who you work with. Part 2, contracts. Might not be surprised. The lawyers were fans of contracts. You do 2 things with a contract.
Is a bigger fan of contracts than I am.
I love my contracts. You're doing 2 things with that. One, you're shifting the burden of risk. With your tenants, you're saying, hey, this is your responsibility to do. With the contractor, hey, it's your responsibility to pull the permits, right? You're shifting the burden of risk. And the second thing you're doing, you're laying out expectations. This is what I expect of you, and this is what you can expect of me.
Right.
You can expect me to pay you and allow you access to the home if you're the contractor, but I expect you to do this work in a good workmanlike quality. With the tenant, I expect you to pay me, and I will fix any maintenance on the outside, but you got to take care of the lawn and the snow. Right. Well, those are things that you lay out expectations and you shift burdens where they need to be handled.
The quick answer, if somebody says, man, come on, we don't need that. We're okay. Let's just do this. No.
Or we'll do it later. I completely agree. We should get a contract.
Let's go ahead and get started here. We'll get that. We'll write that up next week.
I got a couple terms that I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't really care for these terms. Let me have my lawyer look at it. We'll take some time. But let's just get moving with the deal.
No.
No. Yeah.
No can be a good thing.
Yeah, don't do that.
Kind of out of the picture, I think.
3. Oh yeah, you started leaning back on that one.
But that's not going to move it.
No, I know. I don't know what I was thinking. I moved the computer to get Kurt in the picture.
It doesn't matter. We're almost done.
So the third step is insurance. If they get past your contract, if you accidentally chose the wrong person, even they got through your filter system and you couldn't shift the burden of risk, 3, insurance. That's making sure that even if they do come after you, you have enough insurance money to come and pay for the fire liability of the premise. If somebody slipped and fell or whatever comes up, making sure that you have enough insurance in place to cover yourself, to make you and the person who was injured whole. So that's the third thing. The fourth is entity formation. Now I'm putting these in order. Honestly, there's some people who are just sole proprietors. They just buy themselves, go out and invest, and they have so much insurance that no one's likely to reach them personally. But really, it's extremely simple to set up an LLC in the state of Indiana.
Yeah.
I mean, the LLC itself that you form with the Secretary of State costs $97.14. That's it. But
and some paperwork.
What's that?
And a little paperwork.
And then
little paperwork.
And then some paperwork. It takes 15 minutes. Online to do. But you have to follow the formalities of it too, right? You have to. You need to open up a separate bank account and run all the rents through that. Or if you're flipping, the money from the flip through that. You want to run it through this separate bank account because if you don't treat that as a separate entity, a court's not going to treat that as a separate entity. They're just going to say, all you did was pay a filing fee. You don't actually have limited liability, so you're personally liable for this. You don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
The biggest document that you need to get in place for an LLC, which a lot of property investments, they go through LLCs rather than corporations. They're a lot easier to deal with than LLCs. But the main agreement that you need for that is an operating agreement. It talks about how your LLC works. Hey, Lindsay. It talks about how your LLC works. It talks about who the members are, their ownership, what kind of management it has. You are laying out the parameters of how it operates. Because again, you have to treat it like a separate entity. You have to treat it as something separate that has its own rules of how it operates. And then you got to follow those.
Right.
Now that can be more expensive. I usually charge anywhere between $800 to $1,200 to get an operating agreement customized to you. Because I've seen those that they print offline. I mean, I've literally had someone.
It's always a dangerous proposition.
I know you hate the legalese, but this is something that they didn't understand what they were doing. A bank printed them off an operating agreement for what's called a member-managed, single-member LLC taxed as a C Corp. That means that it was one person managing the whole thing with a double taxation. That was not what the operating agreement needed to be for. What's called a manager managed, where you have managers managing it, and you can have passive investors as members. Manager managed, multi-member, because there was more than one member, and it needed to be taxed as a partnership because again there was more than one member. The taxation status did not need to be double taxed as a C corporation.
So you're saying there's more to this than a Google search?
There's more to this than the Google search, and you can definitely get them cheaper online. But if you want something that actually will protect you, that will hold up in court, that's where you
best to get it customized.
Yeah.
And I mean, the thing there is, you know, you're getting it done right. You know, it's going to be custom made for you and your business and what your goals are, so you can get it kind of worked in your best favor.
Yep.
And so it makes sense.
I'll tell you, my charge, that's flat fee, right? Yeah. That encompasses all our phone calls, like us, unless you call me at 3 a.m. If you call me at 3 a.m., you better have a good reason for that. But normally,
it might not actually get you.
You might not get me, actually, yeah. But, you know, I want to build a relationship with my clients where they feel free to call me. And so, like, that is truly a flat fee, no hidden cost with that. Yeah. I mean, pay for the Secretary of State, we'll get your LLC set up, and then we'll move forward with your with the operating agreement. And that's step 4 is getting an entity set up. Step 5 is then just keeping good records, right? If somebody comes back and says, hey, you said you were going to do that, you can be like, no, lay down that email chain that you had or that letter, and you can say, no, this is what it said, and these are what we had for accounting purposes. Well, no, you said you were going to pay for this. I keep track of all my payments, and I did not pay for that. Or
that's a good point, because this goes into a lot of areas of law. Email is essential now.
Hold on, Lindsay said never do legal work yourself.
Okay. Sure. Yeah. Never do legal work yourself. But and it's true. You don't want to do that yourself. But there's also email chains. And, you know, if you got somebody says, hey, well, what if we make this change or we adjust this? Put it in writing in email. It's the easiest way to get it timestamped, date stamped, and you got a copy that you can then take and show.
Yeah.
If somebody ever tries to claim, no, we didn't change that, or we agreed that the price would be this and not that, and we verbally agreed to it. And you say, well, no, we got it in the email chain here. This is what we're doing.
Do a follow-up email and get confirmation for it. This is what we talked about on the phone. A great conversation. This is what we talked about, right? And then they can send a confirmation. That can be binding.
Yeah,
that can be binding. Electronic signature that they have send a confirmation of the terms. It's an offer accepted.
Yep.
Boom, that can be a contract. So those are the top 5 ways to limit your liability. They are especially important when you have real estate deals, which we talked about several today.
Yeah,
wholesaling, flips, holding. There's so much that we could never condense it into the short tips from the bar. Well, hopefully you got a few tips out from today.
Absolutely. I think this is great. I love real estate. So I'm a big fan of talking real estate anytime. So.
Oh yeah. And I'll drop 2 more like keywords for investors right now. If you ever want to talk about land trusts or series LLCs, I'd love to have a long conversation with you about that.
Okay. Right. That's good stuff too.
So either way, we're CCSK Law here at Tips from the Bar at Misbehaving Meads, where we do it every Tuesday at 6:30.
Check us out at ccSKLaw.com, and there's spots on there to go ahead, and if you have questions or want to meet with us, you can contact us through there or call us at 219-230-3600.
Lindsay just also posted, then archive that email. Don't delete that email. Good call, Lindsay.
Good call, Lindsay. Thank you for getting on it. I appreciate it.
Right there. That's a practical
That is,
tip.
man. She's been there. She knows that, right?
Yeah. Lindsay's our receptionist. She's amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah. So. You walk in to the office, you're going to see her sitting there, and she's fantastic. So
awesome.
Anyway, thanks for joining us tonight, and we will see you next week.